into the right, no room for worries. Just let go and be free. When the swing and pop come and join the spree. Swinging melodies, taking us high. Feel the rhythm.
Yes, much better. Hello and welcome to the Willow Rose Cottage. It is the afternoon, the evening after I went thrift shopping and purchased my insane statue. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my statue. Cheers. She is the goddess of grapes and harvest. Don't want to put it over there. And the reason I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the entire situation was a little bit crazy. So, as you know, I'm kind of on this wellness journey, and I've decided that I want to really try on the Mediterranean diet concept and their ideas. And hang on. I apologize for that interruption. I thought I heard Lunar at the door, and I guess it was not Lunar because he's not there, unless he's a doorbell dashing or whatever that's called. Doorbell ditching is what it's called. Anyway, so back to why I'm here. So I decided that I wanted to go get some cookbooks on the Mediterranean diet. So I was just kind of like being really open-minded. I thought I'd seen a couple of cookbooks at the one thrift store that I took you a few vlogs back, where there were so many. In fact, there's so many, there's a whole room dedicated to used books. And it's almost like a bookstore, like a used bookstore inside the thrift store. It's just amazing. And there's so many books and it's so much fun. And I thought I saw some there. So I was driving and my ADHD kicked in. Hold on. ADHD. I don't know, there's something going on in Colombia because I can hear noises, and so I thought it was Lunar. So I went and opened up the door to let him in, and he wasn't at the door, so I decided to leave the door open so that he could come in if he so decided that he wanted to come in. And then the noises were louder, so I had to go shut the door again to kind of close out the noises because it will distract me. And back to my point, I'm driving down Main Street in Sonora and I'm heading to the thrift store. And I don't know what distracted me. I honestly don't, but I missed the turn. And I was like, do I want to try to turn around, or am I just going to go to another thrift store? So I just went to the other thrift store and I found a few books there. And then on the way home, I was like, okay, I have some time. I'm just going to pop in here really, really fast and see if I can pick up those books, the Mediterranean diet books, because I'm sure they're still there. And they were. So I just would go in there. And right when I walk in, there's this amazing goddess statue. Like, how does that even happen in a gold rush town? It was amazing. And right next to her was an old Victrola phonograph, an old Victrola that you wind up and then you play the records on. So I walk right up to the statue and I'm standing there, and she's huge and she's beautiful, and I want her, like immediately I want her, and her price was $150. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so much. I just don't know. And I don't know where I would even put her. And so I'm standing there and I'm kind of thinking of all this stuff in my head. And there was a woman standing there looking at the Victrola, and she's like, I want this so bad. And I looked at her and I was like, I want this so bad. So we struck up this conversation and we're having this really great conversation. And so she asks me, well, where would you put it, in your garden? Do you have a garden? And I said, no, I have a field, and I would probably put it in my house somewhere. And she's like, well, where? And I'm like, I don't know. I live in a teeny tiny little cottage, and it's pretty packed already, and I have no idea where I would put her, but she's just so beautiful. And we're looking at her and we're talking. So we talked for about 15 minutes about it. And so I said, I could put her in my kitchen if I move some things around. And she's like, oh, she's so beautiful. I think you need her. And da-da-da-da-da. So we're having this really, really great conversation. So she's like, so I said, okay, you're right. I'm going to go tell them I want her. I'm going to go right now. I'm pulling the trigger. I'm spending the money. I don't have it, but I'll figure this out. And I want her really bad. So then I had decided I wanted her really, really bad. Like, I just really had made that decision. So this woman's so sweet. I sort of wish I would have gotten her name or something, but you know, in the whole insanity of everything, it's hard. So she says, go tell him that you want her. And so I said, okay, you guard her so nobody else comes and tries to buy her out from underneath me. And she's like, okay, I'll be here and I'll guard her and I'll make sure nobody comes. And I'm like, okay. So I go up to the counter and there's somebody there, and they're like, why is it when you're just really wound up that the person in front of you is so slow? Like, it might be that they're slow anyway, and if you're in a slow mood, then you don't actually notice it. But oh my gosh, it took forever. Like, they were ringing up this, and I don't really know if I want this. And it's a thrift store, and she's going through, like, she's buying clothes. She's going through the sizes, and it's all on the counter, and I'm just like, couldn't you have done this when you were pulling them off the rack? But I didn't say anything. I'm just like, I'm just gonna be whatever. So it's my turn finally. And I go up to the counter and I'm all pleased because in view is a woman and the statue, and she's like to me all the time, you know, whatever. And we're, you know, and when I was in line, I'm like, to her a couple of times, right? Because she's taking up her time in her day to stand there by the statue. So I wanted her to continue on with her life and what she wanted to do too. So I finally get up to the counter. It's finally my turn. And I say, I kind of blurt out, the woman behind the counter, she's like, oh, hello. And she can tell I don't have anything in my hand. She's like, how can I help you? And I said, I want to buy the statue. And she said, oh, I'm sorry, it's not for sale. And I'm like, it wasn't registering because I had all this anxious energy and ADHD energy and just me being me energy, and everything's just like exploding around me. Like, if it was a visual, it would be like sparkles everywhere. maybe not necessarily fairy sparkles either. So I'm kind of like, what do you mean it's not for sale? It's priced and it's there and it says $150. And she said, well, the interesting thing is that somebody said that they wanted it and that they were going to come back Tuesday and buy it. And I said, oh, did they leave it, the down payment on it? And she's like, no. And I said, did they buy it? And she said, no. And I said, so somebody walked in here and said, oh, I want this. I'll be back in 4 days and pick it up. Like, that doesn't make sense. You didn't take a down payment on it? And so the two people behind her that are also working behind the counter, they're like, sell it to her. Who's this woman? That, whatever. Okay, so after me being a little bit not nice, I will admit that. I got pretty salty and I said, this makes no sense. This is a thrift store. You have something on the floor with the price on it that nobody has purchased, but yet it's not for sale. Go out there and put a not for sale sign on it then. do that, because I just spent 10 minutes talking with somebody else about whether or not I wanted it, and I finally decided I wanted to purchase it, and I come up here, I wait another 5 minutes in line for my turn, and then you tell me it's not even offered up for sale because somebody may possibly decide they want to buy it next Tuesday. Like, where are we, in a friggin' Popeye commercial? Like, I'll pay you Tuesday for hamburgers today? Like, I don't get you. And I just kind of like was exactly like I just demonstrated. So they were like, oh, well, we're so sorry, and it's the owner. So anyway, so after that amount of literally probably, I was going to say 5 minutes, but it was probably 7 minutes of me going at them, and I forced them to write up a sign and go out there and put a sign on that statue that says, this is unavailable for purchase until after Tuesday. And so they did. And so then what I found out through all of that is that the owner had told one of the workers that she could buy it on Tuesday. I don't know. I didn't get a lot of details, but I don't know what the details were. If the worker didn't have money, she needed to borrow money, she was going to get paid. I don't know. But apparently there's somebody that worked in the back and she wanted it, but couldn't purchase it until Tuesday. So the owner of the thrift store told her that that would be fine. So I'm like, well, why did you even bring it out on the floor if you're going to basically give it away to somebody that works here? And what about the ethics of that? That seems a little unethical to me also. So then I say in a really not nice way, well, take my name and number and call me if things change. So they said, okay, and I couldn't write, so they had to write it down for me. So I dictated my name and my phone number to them, knowing I would never hear from them because I was really nasty. So I go back over there. So after all this, I go back over there. The woman's still standing there guarding it. And I told her, I think she sort of heard me, but I told her, oh, apparently it's not for sale until somebody decides whether or not they want it on Tuesday. So it may or may not be for sale Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning. So I go off even more with her. And then I stopped myself. I finally went, okay, stop. Just stop. To myself. I didn't say this out loud, but I just said, stop. It's done. It's over. It's not for sale. Shut the F up. You're acting like a spoiled little kid that wants something. And so I'm kind of internally talking myself down. And so I tell the woman that's watching it, I said, thank you so much for wasting your time helping me with this, but it's not going to happen. It wasn't for me. And I just have to accept that. And so then she's like, no, that's not right. Like, what are they doing? So then she gets all angry. She gets all whipped up. And she's like, this isn't okay. You don't bring something out in a thrift store and put it on the floor and then tell people that maybe somebody might want to buy it, and also so then she gets all worked up with me. So we're getting worked up, and I said, well, I'm feeling really salty right now, so I think that my day is done. And so I go into the book. I hadn't even made it into the little book area. So I go into the little book area and I'm looking for books. And I found the 2 books that I had seen there, and I knew they were there, and I picked them up and I just went up and I bought them, and I'm just like, so the woman and I somehow parted ways in a way. I kind of thought I'd see her again, like through the thrift store, but I never saw her again. So that kind of made me sad because I wanted to touch bases with her again and just thank her for her support and for backing me and guarding my statue and all of the things. And so, but I didn't get a chance to, so I'm kind of sad about that. But anyway, so I go up and I have my little books that I'll show you in a minute. And I go up to purchase them. So now it's a little awkward because I've calmed down. I'm still not in the mood to shop. I just got the couple books. I go up, I have and the woman behind the counter, she's like, I'm so sorry. I'm just, it's just that the owner said the thing, and I don't want to do the wrong thing. And I'm like, I'm okay. I know, I get it. I apologize. It just, I spent a lot of time, I invested a lot of time trying to figure out if I wanted to do this or not. And then I finally did it, and then I couldn't, and it just didn't seem fair to me as another customer that happened. And I just kind of would like you to handle it in a different way so that other people don't have to go through, the disappointment that I went through. And they're like, yeah, we know, we get it. We put a sign on there, and we're, this and that, whatever. And so I say, okay, so I purchased my little books, and I put them in my Jeep, and I come home and I toss them in and I'm pouting a little bit. And so I do a couple things around here, and I'm just kind of trying to get myself out of the pouting mode, because really, and this is what I told the woman behind the counter when I went up to buy the books. I said, if it was for me, it would be easy. It's not meant for me. It's meant for somebody else. And so I kind of am of the attitude that if something's for you, it'll be easy. Things shouldn't be hard. And so I just said, it's okay. I'm okay with it, So I come home, and I'm just kind of telling myself, it's okay. It just wasn't for you. You don't even know where you're going to put it. And I'm talking myself down. And, I'm doing something, and out of the corner of my eye, I see my phone light up. And so I look over thinking it's a text or, a call from a friend, and I see the name, and it's the name of the thrift store. And I'm like, that's interesting. And this had been about 45 minutes since I had left. So I pick up the phone and I say, yeah, hello, yeah, this is Hannah, Willow, Hannah, and so we're talking, and she says, well, we kind of started thinking about just the whole situation, and we called the owner, and the owner said, go ahead, sell it to her. So if you still want it, you can come buy it. However, we're gonna close in 15 minutes. I'm like, I am literally 10 to 15 minutes away. And I said, I will be there in 10 minutes. And so I didn't even blink. I didn't even put lipstick on. I am just like, I am done. I put on my shoes. I was still dressed, which is good because I'm not always dressed. A lot of times I come home and put on like a little house dress or something. So, maybe in the back of my mind, I was hoping or something. So I dashed down there, and I walk in, and the two people that were behind the counter previously that were trying to convince the one woman to sell it to me, they're like, yes, you got it. They were all just super, super happy for me, and everybody was, cheering me and everything. So it ended up being really, really a wonderful experience. And the woman that had said no originally, she was, apologizing. She's like, I can't go against the boss. This is what the boss said. So until I got clearance from her, I couldn't do anything, and I'm so sorry that we put you through all of that, but I'm so happy you got it, because clearly you want it really, really bad, and I think she'll have a good home with you. And so that is the story of how I got the statue. However, I just looked up at my phone, something bright jumped up at me, and my battery is dying. So you're gonna have to do the reveal. I'll do the reveal tomorrow. So I'll continue this video with the reveal tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, and we'll move on with that. So I'll see you tomorrow. I'm back to do the book thrift reveal. But before I get started, I just kind of want to talk a little bit, imagine that, I, the introverted little self I am, want to talk a little bit. It's just like a public announcement or whatever, I don't know. Also, and I'll probably be talking about this a little bit more, just so that if you don't catch this particular video, you'll kind of know what's going on. I've been gaining a lot of subs. First of all, thank you. I see you. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoy it here. Welcome to the Willow Rose Cottage. It's a little erratic ride, but it is who I am. I don't shield or hide anything. This is just I am. I have what is it called? Diagnosed anxiety, depression, and ADHD. So I'm a little bit crazy. I hide it well sometimes. Most of the time I don't. So anyway, welcome. On the other side of that, I've been losing a couple subs here and there, and I kind of did a little research as to why do people subscribe and then decide they don't like you, because when I subscribe to a channel, I'm like a lifer. Like, I like you and I want to hear what you have to say and I want to watch you, and so I did a little Google search, and it's like, if you upload too often, it could be viewer fatigue. So I feel like I could get that because I am a lot to take in, and if you are bombarded with my videos all the time, that might be just way too much, and it might be easier for you just to say forget it all like my two husbands did. And so I get that, and so I am going to try something different. I'm going to try to post on Tuesdays and Fridays only and see if that helps with oh, I thought that was my hair. I guess it's part of this. I'm seeing this little, I see. It's the, let me see, I'm going the wrong way. It's the, that thing, windowsill. So anyway, that being said, I'm going to try to do a different kind of posting schedule. So I do know that several of you, like quite a few of you have expressed to me how much you like having the consistency of being able to kind of download at the end of the day with some of my videos, and that they're comforting for you. And I'm sorry if you're not going to have like a nightly little video to watch, but you know, maybe I'll try to do something like a really quick short every once in a while too, to kind of augment it. But I don't want to fatigue you. Like, I don't want to fatigue you. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm getting the feeling that people are like, okay, it's enough. We need to just chill out on the channel for a while. So, so that being said, this is probably a Tuesday because I'm gonna upload this. Today's Monday, so yeah, I was planning on uploading it tomorrow anyway, so that'll start my new schedule. So moving on to my book haul. So this was the book I bought at the bookstore that had the statue, and I knew this book was there. I'd seen it before, and I had been kind of kicking around the idea of the Mediterranean diet, but it just seemed so much for me to wrap my head around, mostly because I don't even cook at all. Like, if you've been on my channel for a while, you'll know that I'm not a cook. I just never really do that. And so it seemed like a lot, and my hand hurt. So now I'm having a hard time holding on to these really big, beautiful books. So this is the Big Beautiful Cookbook that I bought, and it was $3. So that was a deal. And it has lots of beautiful pictures in it, which I really appreciate. And I think it has like the stories of like the Mediterranean and the Mediterranean diet and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be really interested in reading through this one when I get a chance. So, ooh, look how pretty that is. Oh. So this one will be hopefully being featured. Maybe not right away, maybe after I get a little bit more comfortable and maybe have the use of my arm back. The second one I got there was this one, and I had seen this one there as well. What did I pay for this one? I think this one was $1.50. This was at the bookstore. I mean, it's not a bookstore. This is at the thrift store that has the area that looks like a huge bookstore, and they're pricey. And that's what I said in my last video. I love that. I I love that thrift store, but they're a little pricey. And that's why when I saw my statue for like only $150, and I do have to say, I did think that she was concrete when I got her, but she's not. She's fiberglass. And so at first I was kind of disappointed. I was like, oh, that's really sad. But then I thought, well, I live alone, and I'm just kind of like this one little person. Well, I'm not little on anybody's scale. Am I a little person? But, which is a whole video that I uploaded for, I think it's called Cultural Appropriation, where my friend and I were discussing whether or not it would be appropriate for me to be a hobbit, because she's like 5 foot and she's very, very, very hobbity. And one day I went into work and I was like, that's it, I'm gonna start living like a hobbit. And she's like, you can't live like a hobbit, you're like an elf, you can't be 5'10" and think you're a hobbit. So we got into a big old conversation, and then I made a video post about it. So if you want to watch that, it's kind of fun. It's kind of a silly little post, but it was fun to make. So anyway, back to the story. So this one, I think this is the one that, let me see. It has lots and lots of, yes, it has lots and lots of things like this in it that I think is going to be incredibly helpful. So it tells you the pantry and what kinds of things you need, because like I said, I don't even really know what Mediterranean diet means. I know it means that it's healthy, and I know that it means that there's lots of olive oil and fish and cheese and things like that, and bread and mushrooms and all the things that I love. Oh gosh, look, like right here. Yay, the next page over. So here's the cheeses and yogurt. So I think this is going to be a really, really good book for me to just kind of get started on. And then I'm sure the veggies are in here somewhere too. Oh, here they are. Here's the veggies. So I'm going to start reading these, and I've been really, really wanting to get into these and read them before I did my reveal, but I just didn't think that would be fair if I started reading them before I actually showed you what they were. And so this is I think this is going to be a really good book for me, just to kind of wrap my head around. Oh, stuffing a mackerel. I don't think I'll ever stuff a mackerel. I mean, never say never, right? Look, I thought that was bread. I thought that was bread. I was like, that bread looks good. And then it's like stuffing a mackerel, and I guess it's cut in like that. So first I have to learn how to say the words. If you watch one of my other videos when I was putting my statue up, I couldn't remember how to say Chianti. I don't know why, but I just could not remember how to say it. And crazy enough is that used to be my favorite wine. I used to order that like when I went to restaurants and whatever. I loved it. And that bottle that I was showing you was a gift to me, and I loved the bottle so much with the rattan around it. I never wanted to open it and use it. So it's kind of funny. I just forgot how to say that word. So, and here's another one. Oh wait, I'm going to save that one for a minute. Here's another one from that same bookstore. I mean, I keep calling it a bookstore because it felt like a bookstore. The same thrift store, and it's called Italian Country Table. And you know, just the name, not even the Italian part, the country table part really kind of drew me in. I love the country, as you know. I love the woodlands and the forests. I've lived in the woodlands, either woodlands or forest, probably most of my adult life. I did live in Sacramento for a while, but we won't go into all that. But anyway, yeah, so I have lived in a really rural area. I asked my son just a little short story recently, because when I retire, I'll be able to just like go. I have to leave the cottage, as you know, and I'm still kind of having anxiety about that. What am I going to do? Where am I going to go? So I asked my son, I said, just fast. Don't think about it, but just fast. Just fast. If you could choose anywhere in the world that you think I would be happy in, where do you think it would be? And he's like, Grass Valley. And if you know anything about California, Grass Valley is just like where I live, only on the other side of, I think it's on the other side of Highway 50, but it's on the other side of Highway 49. So Highway 49 was made by the 49ers, and so it winds through gold country because they made a road going through one side of the other to gold country, mining and doing all this stuff. So it's called Highway 49 after the California 49ers. So Grass Valley's on one side of Highway 49, and Columbia is kind of over here, and it kind of goes this way across the state. Like if the state goes this way, it goes like this. Anyway, I just found that hilarious. And I asked him, I'm like, well, you didn't say France or Greece or, you know, Istanbul or anywhere like that. And he's like, yeah, you really like those woodlands, California woodlands. And I was like, he's not wrong. So the country table drew me in. So this one, oh, I love that. Oh, look at what it says. I love that. So I think this is going to be kind of a storybook cookbook. I mean, maybe not storybook as in like a fiction romantic tale, but I think it's going to be a storybook like of Italy and the food of Italy and the history of Italy and the history of the dishes that it's recommending that you cook. And I think that's a really good idea, because if you haven't noticed by now, I am quite a historian. Well, maybe not a historian, but I love history a lot. And so that's what I did for probably a good 20 years of my career, as I was a tour guide for historic monuments in California State Park historic monuments. And so I love history so much. A lot of times I got to dress up, so it was really fun. Dress up in the period clothing. So this one I got at that same store, and it's not specifically Mediterranean, but it was $3 as well, and it's herbs. And being an herbalist, I like that idea. So it has all kinds of stuff. Let me see, what did it say? Inspiring ideas. Let's read it together. Inspiring ideas, cooking crafts. Cooking crafts. See, I could do some cooking crafts with it. Decorating and cosmetics. I don't think I'll do cosmetics. I had to do cosmetics when I went through my certification. My certification took 3 years. It's a 2-year certification program, but I had to take a year off because my brother died and all kinds of crazy stuff was going on. So I had to take a year off. So it's a 2-year certification program. Took me 3 years. And the part that I didn't like the most was the cosmetic part. I don't know. I just didn't like that part. So this is what I got. If you remember, I was kind of talking about how I missed the turn, so I went to another thrift store and I found a few books there. And so these are the books that I found there. And this one is, this one, and all her books, I got 4 of them for $1. So they're all 25 cents a piece. So, so this one is Cooking for Dummies. How amazing is that? Like, it'll tell me all the things I need to know. How to cook things. How to sift flour. I sort of know how to do that. Kind of learned that when I was like 2 with my mom. My mom was a baker. She liked to bake. She wasn't much of a cook, kind of like me. I'm not much of a cook. Well, I'm not a cook at all. So I have all these books. However, I do love to bake me some stuff. So I am going to vanilla custard sauce. That sounds good. Oh, see, that's probably not Mediterranean though, is it? I gotta be careful. First I have to learn what the Mediterranean diet is, and then I have to try to incorporate other things into it. My hand hurts. I'm gonna kind of wrap this up because this is hurting. Okay, this is the last heavy one. So this one I had to get because, after all, it had a salad and olive oil on the front, and it's put out by Williams Sonoma. And I don't know if you know Sonoma, Williams Sonoma. They're amazing. They're amazing. It's a big, huge cooking company. That's all they do is put out cooking things and gadgets and supplies and stuff. So I thought this would be really, really good to have for salads, especially at summertime. Tomato bread salad with deep fried chicken pie. Ooh, that sounds good. Ooh, that sounds really good. Okay, what else? What else? Swiss chard and pancetta and hard-boiled eggs. Pancetta? Pancetta. I don't know the words, but it looks good. Okay, so this is a book on salads by one of the best cooking companies in the world, so I think I can trust it. And then the other two are smaller, and they're just like little fun books I found. When I lived in Tahoe, I used to cook. Well, my ex was the cook. In fact, he cooked so well they called him Shay because he was just such an amazing cook. But we used to cook outdoors on an open fire because we lived in Tahoe, so we had this massive fire pit, and it had a big screen on half of it built into it, and I had this tripod that had a chain that the cast iron could hang from and cook, and then I had another one that like an oven that you could, like a cast iron Dutch oven you could put in there and then put the coals on top and you could bake things. So we cooked outdoors a lot, and he cooked outdoors a lot. I kind of played around. So when I came here, I wanted to carry that on by myself, but I just have never done it because I don't know. I just don't know if I go out there and build a fire, throw a steak on there. I don't know. I want to cook things, like real things. So I bought this. It's been kind of a long-term thing that I've wanted to try, and I might do some for you guys. I might cook some outdoors something or another at some point for you guys. Keep me honest. Remind me. One of my subscribers specifically, and then another one subscriber says it not often, but enough. And then one of my other subscribers mentioned it too, that I haven't done a cooking video for a long time. And then the one subscriber that I was talking about says, I like your cooking videos the best. So that's why I'm kind of trying to do a cooking video. So, and then this one I thought was really fun. And this is just super regional, but it's Restaurant Secrets of the Motherlode. And it's all like Sonora, Columbia, and Jamestown and Tuolumne restaurants. So I think that's kind of fun. I probably will never use it. Excuse me. I think the dust from these books are probably bothering me. I'll probably never use it, but it's just really fun to have as just kind of a regional little souvenir. And that ends my cookbook thrift haul. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my little story about how I got my statue. It was a little bit over the top, but sometimes I just do that. I have no excuses. I own it. I own that. So anyway, that's it. I think I'm gonna go get myself some water, go get comfortable, elevate my arm, and my hand and my thumb specifically is really bothering me today, and start on Wednesday preparing for Friday's video. So stay tuned and stay whimsical.
Swinging melody.